When I first started my business, I thought that the people closest to me, they will be the first people to support it, not just emotionally, but also financially. And to me, their love meant buy from me. Their loyalty meant you have to choose me first. And I also thought that closeness means that I don't have to prove myself to you. Then, of course, reality strike. And my friends sometimes they would ask me for advice, they will take notes and act very excited, but then they would turn around and hire somebody else. My family, they would clap for me at the cookout, at the parties, and then they would disappear when it's time to make the purchase. So this is something that used to hurt me a lot, not because I felt entitled, but because I was taking this too personal. And here's what I learned the hard way. Of course, I had to learn the hard way, right? Your friends and family, they are not your customer acquisition strategy. They're not your money strategy. Because if you build your business and that's your expectation, oh, I promise you, you are setting yourself for a lot of disappointment. You are setting yourself for a lot of resentment. And yes, you might also burn a whole lot of bridges for no reason. Because I used to think that when I started, if my cousin, for instance, needs what I do, and they would go to a stranger, or if my friend launching something, and I would think, why wouldn't they hire me? I really believe that's how it's supposed to be. And I'm not proud of it now, but I carried feelings when they did not hire me. So today I want to talk about why I stopped having that expectation that my family needs to buy from me or that my friends need to buy from me. I also want to share the exact mindsets that freed me from that and what I did that worked instead so that you can protect yourself and your business at the same time. Because customers, they pay you for transformation. They do not pay you for love. And even if they love you, if they pay you, they're paying for a result. Even if they don't pay you, that doesn't mean that they don't love you. And when you're mixing things up, friendship and business, you start turning normal life into personal rejection. And that creates resentment, especially resentment and the quiet. You go quiet sometimes and you have this, oh, okay energy, or I see how you move energy. And that can actually destroy friendship and family relationships. Let me tell you a story. I remember when I first started my online business, I was doing websites for $300. I know. I spoke about that story in a different video. And I had people close to me who needed that service, of course. And I even had a friend in New York who started a brick and mortar business. And she came to me and asked me questions like, hey, what kind of websites would you like? Do you think would look good? What design do you prefer? What design do you like? Do you think this would work better for my business? She even asked me, what do you think I should do, Webley? I'm giving advice and I'm thinking that, hey, she's asking me and I'm being helpful. And in my head, I'm like, okay, cool. So clearly I'm doing a website, or she's going to hire me to do it. But at the end, she did not hire me. And I remember feeling some type of way like, wait a minute, why would you ask me all those questions and then you go and you hire someone else? Over time, I realized that something had to change and it did change. And that changed my entire life because the reality is they do not owe me their business. And even if they ask me questions or even if they are close to me, even if they're family, even if I would have done a great job, because friendship is friendship, business is business, I cannot have that expectation, right? So here's what I did that saved me. And that took care of all that resentment issue. I literally separated my friendship from my business. Meaning, if you're my friend and we're talking about your business, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be supportive. I am going to keep it real. But if you want step by step how to, like the very core of what I do for my client, that's no longer just friendly advice. That's my work. So I started saying this confidently to my friends. I told them, listen, I'm happy to help. And if you want the full step by step, I do consultations for that. Listen, the first time that I mustered the courage to say that, I felt extremely nervous because it was like, oh my God, I am really saying to my friend that I'm charging you for this. I'm charging you for this service. But you know something, that boundary is everything because it does two things. It sets expectations and it protects the friendship from resentment. And I think that's the most important thing. And you know what the funny part was? Once I set that boundary, some of my friends actually paid me. So I spent all this time worrying about how they would view me negatively, and they welcome it. They're like, oh, absolutely. I even had a friend who was doing an event in New York, and he paid me for my services, covered travel. I remember renting a car and I drove to New York, paid for the car rental, paid for hotel, everything. I can't even explain how much pressure that removed from the relationship because now things were not awkward anymore. And I felt that it was a mutual respect. I felt also it was my friend saying, Webley, I value your time, I value your expertise, and you deserve to be paid. I even had another friend told me, hey, I just got a grant and I have this project. I want you to do it. I don't want to give this project to anyone else. And I'm telling you, that level of respect, it starts with you. It really does. Because if you don't treat yourself like a business, why would anybody else do? Now, let's talk about the real issue underneath the self-doubt, underneath what's really keeping you from setting this boundary. A lot of people, they don't set boundaries with friends and family because they're not confident in their pricing. And I've noticed three big reasons, and I've been there, so that's why I know. Reason number one is that you're not in control of your time. Let me explain. People are scared to charge what they're worth because they do not actually know how long it takes them to implement their service. They don't have a standard operating procedure. They don't have steps, and sometimes they don't have a process. So it comes easy for you. You think, oh, I'll just sit down and work on it on my computer. And then 5 hours will turn into 15 hours, will turn into 5 days. And now you're mad because you're underpaid and you're resentful. So here's a simple way to reality check your pricing. Try it, it works. Pick an hourly rate. Let's just say that you decide that what you do, you charge $200 an hour, right? Now track how long it takes you to implement something. So if it takes you 10 hours, that's $2,000. And no, it doesn't mean that you're never going to help anyone. That's $2,000 of your time. It means that now you are aware of what you're giving away. Because whether you want to admit it to yourself or not, in business, time is money. Okay? Now, reason number two, you don't think you deserve it. This one hits home and is very deep because sometimes we see charging like we're asking for too much, like we're being mean, or we're being money hungry, or, oh my God, this is too much. I can't even imagine asking that much for my service. Or this was one that I did a lot. I said, oh, I don't think the person can afford it. And when it comes to friends and family, we treat it like it's a favor. We're afraid of naming a price. But if it costs you time, it costs you energy, it costs you the tool that you're paying the subscription for every month, it costs you your skill that you take years to acquire, experience, it costs you experience. That's not a favor, it's a service, right? All right, reason number three, you are comparing your price and you make yourself invisible when you do that. This one, this one will eat you alive if you let it. So you'll start thinking, for instance, well, that person that you follow online that does the same service that you do has a fancy website. They have a huge following. They've been in business for 20 years. They're pulling six figures. So they say. And you start pricing like you don't belong in the room. And sometimes you might be comparing your year one, even your year five, to someone else's 20-year experience. And here's the truth that no one talks about. Not everybody wants to work with big agencies. Not everybody wants to work with the big names. And some people, they actually want your personality, your care, your one-on-one style. Let me tell you a story about my mom in her business. She's a caterer, okay? And she used to do cakes, like wedding cakes and catering for weddings. And one of the places that she did it for a lot was for people in her church. So I remember she used to do it for free all the time. And I would tell her, Mom, you're so, okay, I don't call her mom. Mommy, you're still paying for ingredients. You're still doing labor. You're still spending time. So there was one day, someone from the church asked her a quote for a wedding reception. So they took my mom's menu. Okay, she prepared a menu, gave them a quote. They took her menu and then they went to a well-known caterer in Haiti. And that catering company charged her less. And somehow they convinced her that they would give her a menu that's better than the one that my mom had made for them. But at the wedding, they realized that they actually paid more for less food because my mom's menu had more variety, it had more food, and it had more value. And that experience, it flipped a switch for my mom because she realized that giving discounts, it was like dishonoring her work. And it didn't make her more humble. It actually made her resentful. Another thing that it does when you do that, you train people to undervalue you. So my mom locked in her pricing after that because she realized that even when you give someone a bargain, they might still not choose you. They might still not hire you. So you might as well price your services with self-respect. Okay? And let me tell you another story that might surprise you. I had a client once. It was a very big project. And I kept thinking, wow, why isn't she hiring an agency for that? Do you see how when you don't command a price, you don't believe that anyone will pay you a certain price, the reasoning, how you gaslighting yourself like you do not deserve it, right? So this is what I was thinking. Why she's hiring me and not an agency? And then I said, you know what? Let me just ask her. So I asked her, and you know what she said? She said, "Oh my goodness, Webley, I hate working with agencies." I was shocked. I was shocked. And she said, "They do the work, but I do not get creative freedom. I only talk to one person. It feels cold and it feels rigid." And she said, "I prefer one on one. I don't care if I pay more, but this is how I like to work with someone who's giving me a service." Whew. If you needed permission to stop counting yourself out because you're not the biggest name, there it is right there. Here's your permission. Because there are clients who want your process. They want your care. They want your personality. They want your intimacy. And sometimes they just want your style. Here's the final message. Stop putting the burden of your business on your friends and your family. They love you, and supporting you in different ways doesn't mean that they're not supporting your business. Buying your services or paying for your services or buying your stuff is not the only way they can support you. They can support you by sharing your posts. They can support you by commenting and liking your post or subscribing. They can support you by encouraging you. They can support you by referring you. They can support you by cheering you on and just letting you know that they believe in you. But if you make it their job to fund your dream, you're going to end up with a lot of disappointment, and you might even ruin your relationship, a good relationship that did not need to be ruined. And I'm going to say this in Haitian Creole because it's the truth. Sa bon Dieu se repou, la valas pa ka pote lali. What God has stored for you, nothing and nobody can block it. Your clients, they are out there. Your people, they are out there. But you have got to treat yourself like a real business first. And if you're struggling to charge what you're worth, there's no shame in that. That's just growth. It's normal to feel some kind of resistance because you've never done it before. It's okay. You're growing, because I've also been there. I undercharged on projects before. And the whole time I was working on the project, I felt resentful. And that wasn't fair to the client. And it wasn't the client's fault because they paid me what I asked. So now I choose respect over resentment. I choose the reality of how long it really takes me to do that, and how long and how much I charge, even if it's per hour. I honor that and I charge accordingly. So let me ask you this question and comment with that. Have you ever felt hurt when family or friends do not buy from your business? Or have you ever had to set some boundaries and that changed everything for you in your business? So with that, my name is Webley. I am on this consistency journey to post on YouTube for 100 days. Today is day 35. If you are in this journey with me, thank you. And if you're not, this is your first time watching me, please subscribe because I will be back tomorrow for day 36. Kind of losing my voice. I don't know why, but don't worry. I will show up tomorrow for day 36. Bye.